there we go on that. So, after he got his presents, all of them, they'd get a big bad news report. They'd go, news from the Hidden Leaf Village. A tectonic meteor, the size of the Earth, is coming right towards it. It's not the moon, don't worry. But it's much, much bigger. We have to try and destroy this asteroid. It's a part of Jupiter broke off, and now it's heading straight for Earth. All of them are so scared, because it's literally. Then Kristen looks and says, "I see a giant red light. We have to stop it." But Naruto says, "Get behind us. We're taking care of it." When they do, none of their attacks work because of how big it is. Kristen says, "Baka." He says. Then all the kids walk out and they say, "Stay in." Kristen says, and goes flips them off, saying, "Shut up. We're doing this." They go. He says, "Everyone hands in the middle, put chakra. Put all your force and chakra in." Everyone puts in their jutsus. Christian says, "Chidori." Sasuke says, "Oxon Chidori." Sarada goes for like a lightning fist. Boruto goes for Rasengan. Naruto goes for Rasengan. And they all put their full power in, going, "Ah!" He says, "Rainbow Orb." Christian says, "Now for this Sharingan." And I've only done this once and I don't want to do it again, but and puts his karma out, and then it releases going, and it goes over his eye. He goes and says, "Let's go, everybody." Then they jump up in the air going, and hit the meteor, but it doesn't do anything. It leaves a giant crater in the meteor, but it's still coming. Christian says, "Use all of our forces." Christian says, "What?" Christian says, "Here goes nothing." Sasuke goes up with his Susanoo and Naruto with his Kurama, and Choji with super expansion jutsu to maybe block it. They all go up to the sky to do what Christian says. "Well, looks like I'll do this. I haven't showed you guys this before." He says, "Lightning style, black lightning." And she's a giant black lightning. He says, "Out of my way, I have a brand new technique that I'd like to do." They say, "What is it?" He goes, "Ha!" Then dragons form around him. He says, "Dragons, dragons, dragon sage mode!" He's got a dark blue aura. Dragons, it's like Mitsuki's, but it's blue. Like dark blue, and there's dragons. He says, "Dragons, dragons." Then he goes, "Barrr, barrr." Then he rushes, he does a dragon rush and goes, "Ah!" When Naruto and Sasuke are set down, they see him and a glaring light going, "Barrr, barrr." And then a giant dragon mouth comes in and bites down on the meteor. He goes, "Arr!" Then the meteor starts to come down. He says, "Oh no, you don't! I'll use my third Kekkei Genkai." They all say, "Third?" He says. Then he puts his hand to the ground, creating ice spikes that come spiking up, blocking the meteor, but then it breaks through. They say, "An ice Kekkei Genkai?" He says, He says, "Water style, raging wave!" Tries to hit him, but it's not doing anything. He goes, Sasuke goes for Amaterasu, but it doesn't really do anything. Christian pumps so much chakra in his eye. He goes, everyone hears a giant heartbeat. They go from him. He goes, "Doo-doom, doo-doom, doo-doom." He goes, "Amaterasu." And he says, "Amaterasu," and starts to burn the meteor. He goes, "My Amaterasu didn't work." He says, "I put all my chakra into my eye." He's, "My eye." Christian says, "Boruto." You ready? They both Christian activates the Sharingan, Boruto activates the Jogan, Christian activates the Karma, and so does he. They go. Then Naruto and Sasuke smile, remembering this. Then they both disappear. Christian from above it, and Boruto from below the meteor. Christian says, "Boruto!" with a black Chidori. He goes, "Ah!" He says, "Christian!" And then they go and clash through the meteor, he goes, "Ah!" But then it cracks it, but then a blue light comes and kicks Christian down. He's hitting the Hokage Tower. He says, "What the?" They see Toneri Otsutsuki and Urashiki Otsutsuki. Christian says, I thought you two were gone. And also Momoshiki. Christian says, Kotom. This Naruto says, get behind us now. Christian says, but then out of nowhere, Urushiki and Momoshiki disappear. Christian goes, fire. Then they look at Boruto and Christian in pain. They go, then they both grow horns on their head. Then Christian disappears and kicks Sasuke in the head, going, Sarada says, what was that for? Why did you do that to him? He turns to Sakura and his eyes are golden Byakugan. He goes, then he kicks Sakura and Sarada knocking her out, saying, pathetic mortal. Then he turns into a giant ape monkey going, vulgar creatures. Well, actually, no. His eyes are blue Rinnegan. Boruto's are golden. Boruto turns into a giant monster, and so does Christian. Christian's fighting Momoshiki in his mind, trying to defeat him to get back in control. But then something happens to him. Spy on. Then 5 spirits appear in his head. He goes, huh? He looks behind him and sees a man with long hair and like a weird scabbly garb thingies. A person with an Anbu Black Ops outfit. A person with a black Uchiha shirt. And one with an Otsutsuki robe. He says, who are you guys? He says, but while he's kicked back, then he goes, he dodges Momoshiki's attack and then punches him back. He says, Kotom, go, Kakyu. They say, then he activates a Sharingan. He says, so he is an Uchiha. Madara smiles, saying, he is an Uchiha. That Sasuke brought back our clan. Christian says, Black Chidori. And goes and stabs and hits Momoshiki, but it doesn't really do a lot. He says, and he's brought back the Uchiha stronger than ever. He says, I'm proud of him. He says, then Hashirama on the other side, with Hashirama, Ashura, Hagoromo. They say, don't act like that, mother. Then he goes, boom. He goes, ah. Christian says, fire style, majestic destroyer flame. He says, that's my technique. He goes, ah. Then Christian kicks Momoshiki back and says, time to finish you. He says, they all smile, saying, the cold-blooded nature of the Uchiha. Hashirama says, no! Then he goes, boom! And stabs Momoshiki through Urushiki through the chest, going, then he says, fire Chidori. Then it explodes, burning the body. He goes, has anybody got air freshener? Then he pulls it out and goes, psh. He says, much better. He says, then he throws shuriken, which Madara blocks his fan, and then he says, who are you? And why are you in my mindscape? He says, I'm Madara Uchiha. He says, you bitch. He goes, what? Then they all go, huh? He says, you caused the damn 4th Great Ninja War. Fire style Dragon Flame Jutsu. Plea. And then you see some baby dragon and goes, meow, and just faints. They all laugh, going, ha ha. He says, what a week. I should have went into your sister's mind. She's much stronger. Then he activates his 3 Tomoe Sharingan and goes, what did you say? I'd like you to repeat that. He says, you are weak. He says, fire style, majestic destroyer flame. He says, that's gonna be small too. Then he goes, a humongous, they go, oh shoot. They all shoot their fireballs back, but they're instantly incinerated by his. He goes, then they all go, dah! Madara blocks it with the Susanoo. He says, never mind. He says, so why are you guys here? He says, they say, we're here to help. We're all in your spirit now. If you do these certain hand signs, we'll all be there to help. He goes, show me them. We're kind of in the middle of a situation. Otsutsukis are here, and they're taking over my body. Also, a giant asteroid's about to hit Earth. he says, so, oh yeah, Tobirama's with them too. Christian says, alright, we'll do these specific hand signs and all of us will be sent back into the world. We won't be staying there for so long. We're just spirits. We're just mindscapes. We are real people when we get out there, but we'll fade away with a snap of your fingers. And don't worry, we won't attack. Christian appears out and he goes, trying to resist himself, going, but then he splits in two and goes, then he's running out of chakra. He says, need chakra. He says, Kurama. Kurama shoots, gives him some chakra, and he goes, I say, what hand signs are you doing? No jutsu's gonna stop them. He says, and says, summoning jutsu. He says, Naruto says, no toad or anything is gonna fix that. He says, summoning Uchiha Clan. They all say, Uchiha Clan. Then he puts his hand down, and then Madara, he says, Shisu and Senju in Uchiha summoning jutsu. Then places it down, going, phew. Then Tobirama, Indra, Ashura, Hagoromo, Itachi, Hashirama, Madara, Shisui all appear. They go, with Christian, he says, Uchihas and Senju, roll out! Then they all scatter. Tobirama is fighting Momoshiki with Hashirama. Christian says, wood style, they forced emergence. Fire style, majestic destroy a flame. His shadow clone does, going, whew. Christian says, ah, and creates more wood. Then the shadow clone creates more fire. Then they keep on doing this for about 20 minutes until they finally burnt to a crisp. Then he says, Chidori, planet splitter. Then goes, then pierces through the whole thing, creating an explosion. Then goes, this is the power of the Uchiha. Then Itachi and Shisui do their combo attack. Going, then Sasuke gets up, and so does Sarada, and Christian put the thumbs up, and all and the Ototsukis are in the air on the meteor shooting attacks. Christian says, all the Uchiha smile, going, here's our trademark jutsu. Sarada, Sasuke, Itachi, and Shisui and Indra all go, fire style, fireball jutsu. Christian and Madara say, pathetic. Fire style, majestic destroy a flame. Creating the fireballs at them. They go, ah, crushing the meteor, but the Ototsukis are still there. Christian says, Sarada! As Thing says Hashirama. As Madara says Hashirama. They say, right! I mean, Sarada and Madara will say, Christian, and then Sarada says Christian, and Madara says Hashirama. Christian and Madara and Hashirama go, wood style, they forced emergence. Then the time up, Christian says, Sarada, now! All 10 of her clones shoot fireballs, going, Sasuke joining her, going, so do, Itachi, Shisui, and Thing. And then they all go, burning through them. Christian says, now! Uchiha Clan Chidori! They create the black Chidori. Everyone puts their hands in the middle. He says, this could use some blue. He says, but this is stronger. Everyone forms into everyone jumps in Madara Susanoo, and then they all put their Chidori in Madara Susanoo, then they jump in the air going, ah! They fly up to the sky going, ah! Then they break and kill all the Ototsukis. Christian says, They all say Uchiha as Madara, Shisui, Itachi, and Indra, and Ashura, and Hagoromo, and Hashirama all poof. Oh yes, finally! I will join! Cartoon. Don't wake me up.